Welcome, Becky, the dog medium to Random Spirit Podcast. Thank you for coming, girl. Thank you for just showing interest in my podcast. Yay!
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. Okay, tell us about yourself. Give us a little intro. Like, who are you? Where are you from?
All right. Well, so I am the dog mom medium, as stated, but I am originally from Baltimore, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and I have moved quite a bit in this lifetime. And now I'm ended up in Colorado. So I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love it. It is amazing out here. It's a awesome spiritual place. There's so much to do outside. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about where I'm from and where I'm at currently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a little bit about me. I'm a psychic medium, so that means I can connect to
Mm-hmm.
people's loved ones who have crossed over. And I've been doing this work for the past 5 years now, and formally for the last 2 years now. I've been doing psychic readings and mediumship readings to clients from all over the world. I've read people in from Bali to India to
Wow.
England to all over the United States. And yeah, I love this work that I do, and I'm really happy to be here to share a little bit more about what I do.
Okay, what got you into doing mediumship readings? Like when did you discover you had that gift?
I always love this question. I'm going to try to give like the Cliff Notes
Yes,
version
girl, you did. No,
because
it's
I think,
fine.
yeah, no, because I mean, I think that obviously, like every part of my life was very important to me getting to this
Mhm.
point. But again,
Yes.
Cliff Notes, right? So yeah, actually, I've looking back, like on my childhood, I now can see that I was extremely empathic and intuitive, but you didn't really know what that was back then. And I
Yeah.
didn't really have any figures in my life who could kind of teach me about the gifts that I had. And,
Hmm.
we're programmed as we grow up, especially back in the 90s, that
Yeah.
if you can't see it and it's not provable, like it's not real.
Hmm.
So, growing up, I grew up with a alcoholic stepmother, and I had quite a bit of childhood trauma, but fortunately, a little bit of overachiever. My trauma response was overachieving and people pleasing, which is not always healthy, but it
Yeah.
definitely is some of the better ways to
Hmm.
be. um, but anyway, yeah, I in 2019, I went through a pretty traumatic breakup, at least traumatic to me, with someone
Yeah.
who was narcissistic. And so what's funny is I'll share a little bit more about that journey than I have like previously.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, we were together for like 3 months, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I feel that the hardest relationships sometimes to get over are the ones that ended quickly out of
Yeah.
nowhere with no explanation because you didn't get to see them reach their full potential.
Hmm.
And after this breakup, I was just depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. And I'm an
Yeah.
extremely confident woman. I've always have been.
Hmm.
And so for me to act like this way over a guy, I was like, am I going crazy?
Hmm.
So my roommate at the time was like, hey, like you should go see my life coach. And she's also a psychic medium. And I'm like, all right, like I'll try anything to feel
Hmm.
better at this point.
Yeah.
And I went to her, and like one of the first things she told me was like, hey, like you have gifts, like, and you're meant to like do this work. And I have been told that I had psychic gifts, like when I would go do tarot readings or like fun readings with the girls, like I've always been told that. But I kind of just was thought not much of it. And
Hmm.
but anyway, she told me to go on this 90-day like self-love, self-care journey. And this was like 2019. I had never even heard of what is self-care, what is self-love. Like
Hmm.
to me, that sounded kind of like woo-woo. But like I said, I was willing to try anything. And I did a lot of things for the first time. I traveled the world alone. I journaled. I meditated for the first time. I was just putting myself first for the first
Mhm.
time in my life, and it was completely transformative. And I got really into like the metaphysical stuff, the spiritual stuff, law of attraction, affirmations, and I came across tarot decks, and I just thought these were so beautiful and fun.
Mhm.
And so I watched a bunch of YouTube videos of tarot readings, and I got my own cards, and I just started kind of playing with them as a part of my own self-care journey. Um, but then my friends and I would like bust them out and ask them questions about like guys they were dating or career choices or where to move.
Mhm.
And we just had a lot of fun with them. But I started realizing that the information I was giving to my friends and the readings would get deeper and deeper, and things would start coming true. And they would reach back out to me like, oh my God, like you wouldn't believe this. This totally happened. And I'm like, okay, well, so maybe there's something to this. And then I kind of was like in the psychic medium closet because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. I didn't really know what this
Yeah.
was. Like you're kind of just experimenting and having fun. Um, and I I just got more and more referrals, and I started doing them for some coworkers like I trusted and shared with them my gifts at work.
Yeah.
And I did some group readings, and I remember my close friend passing away suddenly tragically at 32 years
I'm
old.
sorry. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And he came to me when I was going to his funeral, and like I was like, "What are you doing in my car?" And he's like, "You're open to this, like you can do this." And coincidentally, I had a team meeting group reading I was doing like
Mhm.
the week after I got back from his funeral, and I started doing the reading, and people's past loved ones were coming through. I was getting like, your dad had a heart attack and his name was this. And I just kind of went with it. And and ever since, and that was in 2022, I started opening myself up more to mediumship, got a mentor. I had an amazing
Mhm.
mentor in Marianne DeMarco. She's like absolutely brilliant. I still have a mentor. I always think you should grow and learn. I did a ton of free readings. I did mentorship. And then I got to the point where I was like comfortable enough to do this formally. And I've been doing this formally for about 2 years now.
So how was it having like your friend in the car? Like, was it after like his funeral? Like, girl, how was that just like normal to you? Like, did
I
you have previous experiences?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because like I don't know. It wasn't like I saw his ghost or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's not creepy and weird, but like I
No,
just
yeah,
felt
yeah,
his
yeah.
spirit. Like we were dancing in the car to like his favorite tunes. He was total like diva, loved him.
Girl,
Like
oh my
and
gosh.
it was well, it's actually funny because like this group of
Mhm.
friends from high school, they kind of know about my gifts, and they were people that I entrusted with
Mhm.
stuff. And I got to the funeral, and like some people pulled me aside and they're like, "Have you seen him? Like, have you heard anything? Like, do you know anything?"
Oh
And
my
out of
goodness.
respect for the family, I was like,
Yes.
"No," like,
Yeah.
um, or I would tell them like, "Yeah, yeah, like he was in the car with me, but like let's not say anything," like,
Mhm.
because the family's still deep, deep in their grief.
Yes.
But yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so my girl's like a psychic medium. How, like, which gifts are heightened for you?
Yeah, so so there's multiple clairs, right?
Hmm.
And my main clair is claircognizance. Like I just know. Like I just have this deep intuitive knowing, and it's really strong. But as you
Hmm.
know, doing this work, you can improve your clairs like any other muscle.
Yes.
So I
Hmm.
use all of my clairs, but my claircognizance is pretty dominant. And also my clairsentience, meaning I just can feel
Yeah.
things. Like a lot of times, like I'll get calls of death because they'll make it hard for me to breathe, or like my face will feel like it's drooping, like because someone had a stroke, or um,
Girl, oh my
mhm.
God. Do you find it like, because um I personally do not like mediumship because the clairsentient is so strong. Like, do you set boundaries with spirit, or like are you just like go on and like have at it and then you deliver the information?
I actually love it. And I've actually felt being shot in the chest, and somebody who came through who was
Hmm.
murdered, who was
Yeah.
shot through the chest, and I was like, oh my God. I think I don't know why, but I love it. I think it's so fun. But I'm very lucky because it's not
Yeah.
super intense at all.
Okay.
Because they can get me there by not being super intense, but like the other thing is once I get it to the client, it goes
Hmm.
away. And it's
Okay.
so funny too, because I only have a medium client, or not even a
Hmm.
medium client, just a
Hmm.
psychic client.
Yeah.
And I remember my right ovary was like feeling like it was going to fall apart before the reading. And I was like, is this for me? And they're like, no, it's for your client. I'm like, okay, great. So I delivered, the message to
Wow.
maybe get that area checked out. And as soon as I delivered it, it's like pain gone. I was like, oh, this is great.
Well, no, that stuff does happen like before a reading. Sometimes, like I normally get it like in my dreams, or like I feel like a vibe that I don't really pay attention to. Um, okay. Do you have like what is your ritual before getting into a reading, like psychic mediumship reading?
Well, I'll sage, of course, to clear
Mm-hmm.
out anything negative. Drink plenty of water
Mm-hmm.
and make sure I'm like really hydrated. And then I typically I really stink at sitting still, and meditating. I'm really not the best at it, so I'll try to like just quiet my mind a little bit before reading.
Mm-hmm.
But typically I'll just say a prayer that's, I'll be like, spirit guides, past loved ones, angels for so and so, please come through with me and share with me anything and everything of the highest and best good for this client at this time. Thank you. And then just kind of open it up from there. Sometimes I'll do a pre-channel, like
Mm-hmm.
write things down that come through
Mm-hmm.
right before the session. But yeah, that's how I prep for mine.
Okay. How do you close it out? Or like is it
See,
just yeah.
yeah, no. I mean, I always ask spirit to like release the energy of whoever I just,
That's so important. Yes.
yes. And so you can always envision like a light coming through you.
Mhm.
I'm not like super, I need to get better about it. I'm like, as we're talking about it, I'm
I'm
like,
lazy too, girl.
spirits,
I literally
yeah. I'm like, well, that was so much fun. I'll skip off and I'm like, oh no. And then like you'll have like a nightmare and you're like, oh God, close it out.
and the energy's still there.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
no. I'm not the only one. We need to work on it, girl.
Hmm.
Um, all right, I know we talked about this before, but just like what how does Ollie, your dog, like play into your work?
Yeah, so I keep thinking, I'm like, should I change my name, because some people think I just do pet readings.
Mm-hmm.
And while I have had pets come through readings, it's not like my specialty yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I called my business Dog Mom Medium because Ollie's such an important part of this for me. One, I don't
Yes.
think I would have gone through that part of my life
Oh.
if he weren't there, because it was at the point that if I didn't have to get up to
Yeah.
go take him out, I don't know if I would have, or take care of him. And so I think that's number one. And he was huge on that spiritual journey and healing for me. I feel like dogs are very, very healing, and he is my soulmate on so many levels. And I just wanted him to be a part of this business and a part of this journey with me. So that's like the first reason is
Yes.
he's been on the spiritual journey with me and he's just a part of my life. I love creating little funny reels on Instagram with him and like just having fun and being
I
creative with him.
love that. I was
He's such
looking
a
at it. I was like,
goof.
oh my God.
He's got such a face for that camera. But yeah, and then the other reason is anytime I'm reading, like even now, he's at my feet. So he helps ground my energy and helps keep me calm. And I don't know how he knows how to do it, but he just does.
Hmm.
So typically most of my readings are virtual, and he will be at
Yeah.
my feet or by my side depending on the reading and the client. But I've actually had in-person clients where he's come to them and like sat with them or sat between us to help ground both of our energies. And this is the weirdest thing, but he attracts people that just lost their pet. So we'll be hiking and like people will stop and be like, "Can we pet him?" They're like, "We just lost our dog." And I'm like, "Are you a medium?" Like, so
Hmm.
he's just such an important part of where I am and how I got here. And I wanted him included in that. And then I think the other part, sorry, there's so many parts to this
It's
name.
okay. No,
Um,
absolutely.
but I'm 34, I'm single, I'm a dog mom, I don't have any kids. And so I feel like a lot of the clients I attract are dog moms looking for, dog dads for
Hmm. No,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and so like I have a very specific client while I help people from
Hmm.
all different walks of life,
Yes.
ages, races. That's my main client because you tend to attract the people that you can help based on your own experience. So attract a lot of dog moms. So I was like, hey, this fits, and I just kept it.
No, and that's amazing. Oh my goodness. I think it's just so special and important to keep yourself grounded when you're doing a reading. I don't
Hmm.
even ground myself, girl. Okay, I'm calling myself out. I don't ground myself
Like
when
you
I'm
just be
doing
all
the
up in the
reading.
clouds.
So that, I mean, that's just so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And like just the relationship that you have with like Ollie, you know? Um, wow. Do you believe in past lives?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like, well, obviously, I feel like Ollie is like a soulmate, but it makes me wonder. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of like, what if he was like human in the last life? Or what if, you know?
I honestly wouldn't doubt it. But I definitely feel like we've been together many, many lifetimes. And I've actually been told that in a reading before, but it's like, of course, nothing I didn't know. I'm like, yes, I absolutely like, and even if you go up to my dog, like he likes people, like, but
Hmm.
he is not like a people. He's not like a golden retriever. He's not going to get all excited and pee himself when a new person comes by, but he'll let them pet him and like he's nice.
He's
But
chill.
right, but when I met him, he was jumping on me. He was excited. He was going crazy, and I was just like, "This is my dog." Like, so when they say they choose you, they do. He chose me because he is not like that with anyone else. So,
When did you get Ollie again?
7 years ago, I think. Yes, 2017, I believe. Yes.
Okay, where did you get, if you don't mind me asking, girl, I'm like
No.
super nosy. Where did you get him?
No, so I'm at rescue only. I don't judge people that don't. That's my personal preference.
Wow.
So I did, there's a rescue called Maryland Animal Sanctuary. They foster
Mhm.
dogs in homes. So I got him from them.
You travel, well, obviously you traveled with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was living in
That's so
Maryland at the time.
interesting.
Mhm.
Oh my God. What's his zodiac sign? I don't remember if I had asked you. I'm sorry, girl.
Okay, so according to his made up birthday, he's
Yeah.
a Gemini, and
Okay.
he's
Oh yeah,
very
I remember you telling me that.
he
Yeah.
definitely has,
Okay.
but it's funny because like he's like June 20th, so he's close to Cancer. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're clingy. He's clingy like a Cancer, but also like super independent like a Gemini. Like he wants affection when he wants it, and then like doesn't when he doesn't. It's like he's so Gemini. It it
Oh, that's so much. Oh my goodness. Um, all right. What drives you to continue the work that you do?
oh my gosh, there's so many reasons that drive me to wake up and do this every
Hmm.
day. One, I'm super grateful I get to do this every day. But I think the main reason is that it helps people heal. And when
Hmm.
you can help heal one person, that person has like a ripple effect on everyone
Yeah.
else. So whether
Hmm.
it's a mediumship reading that maybe someone's grieving a loss, whether it's new or an old loss and they just
Hmm.
never seen a medium before,
Yeah.
um, just to be a part of that is just so beautiful
Hmm.
to watch. And not only, that helps them grieve whoever they lost, they realize, hey, my loved one, while physically gone, and there's nothing that replaces that physical loss. But there is some comfort knowing that they're not gone. And so that's the other part of the mediumship reading
Hmm.
that's so rewarding is it's made me less scared of death. So
Okay.
I think that can help others feel less scared of death. And the other part is like more psychic readings where people just need guidance, clarity. A lot of people come to psychic mediums because they feel stuck, they're sad, they're depressed even. And so to be a part of being able to deliver healing messages that helps get them through whatever they're going through at that current moment in their life, it's just, again, such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And anytime I see a text like you changed my life, or you talk to a client 6 months later and their energy is just like lifted and they're so much better. Oh God, it's just such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And it just
Hmm.
keeps me going.
Sorry, you're gonna. Oh.
That's
And
okay.
he finally came, girl.
Hello. I love how he's
No,
already ready for Christmas.
right? My
I
little
love
Pisces.
that.
Um, so you're, I guess, I don't know, like, how do you pronounce the word? Is it niche or niche? Or does it
I
doesn't
say
matter?
niche, but I guess it does tomato tomato.
Yeah, I say the same thing. So your niche, you would say, is like how you said it's like dog moms that okay, no more. Dog moms that I just had a brain fart.
Oh, so I think you were asking me about my niche, like who I attract.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
You had answered it and I was trying to like reiterate it, but Cynthia's not
Yeah.
computing of
Absolutely. Well, honestly, like I love doing mediumship readings. They're my favorite. But I would say my niche would be around women 30s to early 40s
Yeah.
looking for love, looking for a relationship, struggling with a
Mm,
relationship, and like wanting to find that like true partner. That typically tends to be the theme. Um,
mm,
and I've also like had issues with my dad, who's now crossed over. So I've been getting ever since my dad passed last month. I have actually been getting more and more
oh,
clients,
girl.
again, 30 to 40 looking for love, but also have
Hmm.
a dad that's passed away. So I always think it's so kind of magical how spirit
Hmm.
can bring you people at the right times in your life that you can relate to, and you can really help. So while I don't say I have a specific niche, I always trust that spirit brings me whoever needs me and who's going to resonate with me at that time. And that can always change.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, because I know for me it's like I get like different people, but it's like there's always a reflection of some part of me from the past, if that makes sense.
Yes, we're all mirrors to each other. Uh,
Yes.
and that's part of a lot of like the advice that comes through from spirits. Like, oh, if you are continuously attracting this type of relationship, well, let's take a step back and look at why. Because there's some
Yeah.
form of mirror in that manner. So, like, if you're
Hmm.
attracting unavailable men, what parts of you are unavailable? Or was there a relationship in your childhood where you weren't chosen?
Yep.
Or a traumatic moment that you weren't
Hmm.
chosen, and now you need to chase these unavailable men so they can choose you, so they can invalidate the belief
Hmm.
that you are not enough. And that comes through a lot uh, from spirit.
Do you ever get people that are like just like, well, no, I just like I like they're like honed in and focused on like a specific thing and you're like reflecting it back like, the answer is within you and it's like what you just said, your trauma and stuff. Like, do you ever get people that are like, yeah, let's just like push the trauma to the side. I want to know about this.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've had a couple readings like that.
Hmm.
One reading in particular, it was funny because the first thing that they said to me was, tell her to stop getting readings. I was like, all right, I'm gonna because and I've met people like this, and I have
Yeah.
been there. I've been this person. It's
Me
okay.
too,
Like,
girl. Me too.
no shame, no blame. Like, pay by the minute. Like, does he like me? Oh my God, does he? Like, okay, well, he's not calling you, so
Hmm.
I don't like you. But so anyway, I did have a client that I told immediately, and they were just like brushing it off. They're like, No, like I just want to know if this guy, if it's me. Is it me? Is it me?
Yeah.
Is it me? Is it me?
Hmm.
I'm after the third, is it me? I'm like, yeah, it's probably freaking you. Like, no.
Yeah.
But it's and it's I say that in tongue in cheek and jest and just completely joking. This was a very beautiful, amazing soul. She was a beautiful client. It's just sometimes, and I've been where she's been, so no judgment. But sometimes we
Hmm.
can't get out of our own way to see where, we might be the cause of our what we're
Hmm.
attracting in our own problems. So the thing too is the client actually came back to me uh
Hmm.
and told me later like, hey, like you were right. I just wasn't ready to digest it at that time. So, and that's
Wow.
totally fine. Like, and
Hmm.
that's why I trust what I get from spirit. If they're telling me something, I tell the client, and it doesn't hit. Sometimes, and early on in my career, like I would beat myself up, lose sleep over it. Like sometimes I still do, but then I realize like it, like no, like they're telling me what they need to hear
Hmm.
and whether they take it or not, that's their business and that's not on me. My job is
Yeah,
just to deliver the messages.
I
And
agree
so
100%. And then also again, thank you for providing no judgment to the women that, go to you because um I mean, I am gonna say I was that girl, right? And like I've had some messed up people like just be nasty with me. And I'm just like, but what did Cynthia do? I went to another person,
yep,
you know?
exactly. Right. Exactly. And I remember I've left a reading in tears, like absolute
Hmm.
tears, like what in the world? But looking back, it's like parts of the reading were right. It's just their delivery, like and that's a really important part of this work. You have to
Hmm.
learn how to deliver messages with care and compassion. And also sometimes I not sometimes, all of the times I can
Yeah,
read whether a person's ready to receive information or not. So if I feel like they're not ready to receive it, I'll go back to spirit and go, how should I put this? Give
it's
me the words.
discernment.
Mhm.
Girl, I think that is so important. I didn't mean to cut you off, which bleeds
Oh,
into how do you spot a like fake medium? Like how do you know that someone is being I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the word fake, but like,
unethical?
how do you know? Yes, how do you know one
Yes.
is unethical and then one is like
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, one, always use your intuition because even a psychic medium could be really good. And the woman I gave a story about, like me and her were not energetically compatible, and that's okay, right? So sometimes it's not always that they're unethical, but sometimes some people's energies don't mix, and that's okay, right? So I think that's the first thing is follow your intuition. If something doesn't feel right, get out, or just take the reading as it is and just take what resonates and leave the rest is what I say. But things to watch out for if a medium is saying, oh, some like I'm really good. I can read you like a book. But it's how are they using that information? I could tell you everything about the guy you're seeing and the relationship and the reason he's not calling and he's inconsistent is that there's a dark cloud around you and for $1,000 I'll clear it, but if you don't clear it now he's never going to come back, and that's so one awful to do. So that's the first sign to look out for. There's no dark cloud around you. I don't believe in that shit. Like, and like, sorry, just totally blunt. Like, no, but actually giving them helpful information like, hey, like you keep allowing him to be inconsistent and you keep enabling that behavior, so it might be a good idea to set boundaries or talk through his behavior and what you're going to put up with and not, and actually give them advice that's going to help them. And so that's the first thing. And I caution pay by the minute psychics, and no shame, blame, judgment, because I've been there, just because that are communicating through text, because you don't know what you're getting on the other side. Like, so just be cautious with those. I'm not saying that they can't be good. I would be a little bit weary. Also, like if a psychic medium is, just again telling you what you want to hear, And if it doesn't resonate with you, I've had a lot of psychic mediums be like, oh, he's going to come back. And then like what they do is they want you to keep coming back to them. So they keep telling you what you want to hear. And like when that person continues not to come back and not to come back, the more and more they need you. A good psychic medium and will tell you, and I tell all my clients this, wait 6 months to a year, see how this reading plays out, really start putting the work in on yourself and the steps that I've guided you to take, right? You don't need me. Like I don't want clients to need me because then they lose their own intuitive voice, their own intuition, and we and that's not okay. Like my job is to just help provide clarity of stuff they're already probably thinking. Like a reading should leave you with clarity, never confusion. And that's kind of how like I preface it anyway.
Sorry, I had to put myself on mute because he's being, yes, yes. Um, I agree 100% with like everything that you said. It's very interesting. I feel like also like everyone's different, right? Every person reads different, and that like that dark and it's interesting. I've heard like people say like, "Oh, I put in like 5K." And like, and like I'm just sitting there just like I'm so sorry that like that happened, but everyone has an intuition, everyone has discernment, everyone has the ability to have good judgment. And like this may come off as like a bitch and I don't mean it, but it's just like use that, you know?
Yeah, also you have free will. Your future is not
Yeah.
set in stone. So if any reader tells you this is going to happen, like you're gonna die on this day, like, oh my, like run because
Yeah.
you have free will. So I had a client the other week where like, oh my God, they were giving me strokes and heart attacks and all this stuff. And they wanted me to talk about her health. I'm like, look, I'm not saying you're going to have a stroke or heart attack. Absolutely not. What I am saying is they are telling you that you need to really work on your stress and rest and really start taking care of your nutrition and your exercise, or these things could happen down the road for you. They run in your family, and she confirmed they did. And I'm like, I, again, that's a message that's helpful. Like versus I've had, psychics go, oh, like they're going to have a stroke. Okay, well how is that helpful? Like that's just going to make them
Yeah,
worried. All they're going to think about is having a stroke and like then they're going to attract a stroke to them.
which is crazy. Yeah. Which is like we don't want that.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Exactly.
No, that's interesting. Oh my gosh, girl, I could keep talking about like psychic stuff. So what did you want to be when you grow up? Totally random, but I have to put it in there. What did Becky wanted to be when she grew up?
Oh, it's so funny. I wanted to be so many things. It changed my mind so many times. I just had such a again, I had some childhood trauma that it was safer
Yeah.
just to be locked in my room. So I like would go into my own little worlds. And I played teacher.
Really?
Yeah, I played teacher and I wanted to write a book. And I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I don't do blood so well. So
Mm-hmm.
that got out real quick. Got
Mm-hmm.
out of that career path pretty fast. But my dad, and he had all the good intentions in the world, right? But
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not paying you to go to college to be a teacher and make 30,000 a year. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and write books. Like you'll never do that. It's just all these limiting beliefs that
Mm-hmm.
again, good intentions because I think your parents, like they're just teaching you what
Yes.
they were taught. And me, I'm like me now, it's like I am limitless. There's like you can make money writing books. You
Period.
you can be
Mm-hmm.
happy and fulfilled being a teacher. Like, and it's kind of funny because in what I do, I kind of do teach in a way.
Yes, you do.
Uh
Mm-hmm.
just I teach something metaphysical, right? And then I am right, and I do write, I do blog, I blogs on my website, and I definitely I am going to be called to write a book. And I've been
Oh my
playing around with that.
gosh.
So, I mean, hey, so kind of cool.
Okay. Um, so I know you're Pisces, right, girl?
Yes.
And it's interesting how you said like, as a child you would like go to your room. Were you like in the daydream world? Like, did you ever like daydream?
Oh, I'm a total Pisces to the core. Like, I'm a daydreamer. I would get lost in different worlds. I would create fantasies in my head. Um, and so, like I said, I had such a I'm gonna say this. I was very blessed. Like I came from a pretty affluent family and
Mm-hmm.
I had food and water and shelter and but unfortunately, like the emotional stuff was pretty
Yeah.
bad. So I definitely got lost in TV shows. And like the
Me
idea of like
too.
all these, and I saw a medium. It was funny, and my dad came through, and she's like, "Yeah, your dad's mentioning he was not a TV dad," and I totally got what she was saying because I used to watch like Full House, and like I wish I had that. Like,
Oh my God, I
yeah,
can relate literally. Like I don't have like any water placements like that, but I have like 12th house placements. And I know that well in astrology, that's like um the imaginative. I can relate 100%. I used to play with my Barbies and like pretend like it was my life, girl.
yes. I mean, oh my gosh. And I used to study for tests. This is going to sound so dorky, but I used to study by
Hmm.
pretending I had a classroom in my room and I would like teach the class.
Girl, oh my
Like,
gosh,
so weird. Like these are
wow.
such weird things, but yeah, I mean, I used to have a billion stuffed animals that I used to like play with and make up imagination stuff with them. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I never played mom. I always played some sort of job, which is hilarious because like I'm a workaholic. 6 planets in Capricorn, in
Okay,
my
that
chart,
explains it, everyone.
and a Taurus rising. So it's like I'm a
She has
workaholic.
a stellium in Capricorn. Wow. Do you have
Yeah,
any siblings?
I do. I have a brother.
Okay. Are you guys close in age? If we're getting too personal, shut me down,
Oh, no,
girl.
no. I'm an open book. No, my and my brother are what we call Irish twins. So we're 15 months apart. His birthday is actually today. He is
Happy
a
birthday to
Scorpio.
him.
Yep. So Scorpio, he's definitely a Scorpio. Scorpio, Pisces, my mom's a Pisces, and my dad was a Capricorn. So water and earth. Like
Oh, wow.
all water and earth. Yeah.
Wow. And their sister, well, it's compatible. Water and earth is compatible. Okay, wow. Did you ever imagine yourself like doing what you're doing now today? Like when you were younger, like
Oh my gosh, no way. But this is funny. I think I was in my teens and I loved watching Long Island Medium with Teresa Caputo. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I was like, and I just remember feeling this like very intense longing of like, I want to do that. Like, that is so freaking
yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
I wish I had that gift. And I mean, now people, I want to put this, I don't go up to people in grocery stores and like read
No, I
people.
don't
Like,
either. I don't either,
it's a
girl.
TV show, but
Hmm.
I just was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing in the world. So looking back, it's kind of funny. You're like, oh my God, hey, well, like here I am.
Did you grow
So,
up in a religious household?
so no, I was actually baptized Catholic. My mom and
Love that.
her side was pretty like they were religious. Like they would go to
Hmm.
church every Sunday with my grandmom. But
Hmm.
I mean, my mom's one of seven, so some of them are super religious. There's like a
Hmm.
spectrum amongst them. And my dad is like was not religious. He was like pretty much an atheist or agnostic. Um,
Mm. Okay.
and my mom, I think when my parents got divorced when I was seven, she kind of turned away, not turned away from the church. She was always religious, but I don't know if she felt shame because in the Catholic Church, you don't get divorced.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of funny you bring this topic up because um, I was like, I always was obsessed with rosary beads and things in the Catholic Church, but there was like a lot of things that like that didn't resonate with me.
Hmm.
My brother, my sister-in-law and him are pretty religious now. They
Okay.
weren't always. And so we definitely don't agree on a lot of things, but
Hmm.
I respect that people have a right to believe whatever they
Yes.
want. and I
Mhm.
have a right to believe whatever I want. And at the end of the day, like, who the hell knows? Until you're dead and gone, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really know anything.
Mhm.
So I feel like as long as you're being respectful towards each other and not pushing beliefs on other people, like I am
100% girl,
I'm here for whatever you want to believe as long as it's not harming anyone.
right? And as long as, yeah, you're not forcing anything down someone's throat.
Right.
Okay. Huh. All right. What is the most challenging thing about like being a psychic medium for you?
Oh my gosh, I think it's the level of responsibility that comes with this work. I always want to be ethical and do the right thing and make sure I'm doing this work ethically.
Hmm.
So I think that's the pressure, right? Of like people are coming
Hmm.
to you grieving, needing advice and next steps, and you have to communicate a message
Yeah.
and you want to make sure you're giving them the right information. But
The
sometimes there is no like there is no 100% confirmation what I'm getting is actually
yeah.
real, right?
Yeah.
Except for the like I've gotten enough validation and I have enough experience to know
Hmm.
that what comes through is always of the highest and best good, but it's still a lot of pressure. Like I
Yeah.
always want to help people and do it in the right way. And
Hmm.
I've gotten better now that I have way more experience, but
Yeah.
whew, like before reading, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up half the time because you're like, oh God,
Um,
like what if no one comes through? What if like they like aren't receptive to the messages? What if like but hey, at the end of the day, and me and my friend who's also a psychic says the same thing. It's like you know what you're signing up for when you go to a psychic.
yeah.
You're not
Hmm.
going to a doctor that has a degree and passed an exam.
Right.
Like
Right?
I mean, you know that some readings are great, some readings are meh, some readings, you might not leave totally like in awe,
Yeah.
but then 6 months later, you're like, oh my God, everything she said came true.
You
Like,
you need to give it time. I honestly feel like people need to understand you need to give it time. If it does not resonate, like say like, when I first started getting into like readings, I used to jot things down. And like I'm the type of person like, oh, like, if they like get it, like great. If they don't, it's okay. At least, I was open to it. And it would always happen like way later, or it would happen with a
yes,
twist, with a twist. And I'm
yeah.
just like always like, okay, so get a notebook while you're getting a reading or something.
Yes, I always tell people to record, either record the session or write down notes because some things might not make sense now or they might make sense later,
Mm-hmm.
especially with medium readings. Sometimes I'll get information for someone's parent to deliver, hey, like tell your mom this, like she'll understand. And
Yeah.
like I just kind of leave it.
Right?
Right. But they'll always come back and be like, well, like, and those are the funnest moments for me is like when they come back and they're like, oh my God, you know how you were talking about this? Like, well, I'm like, it came true, or like I figured out what it meant. Because it is like a game of charades. And like the other thing that I want people to know is I can't tell you when you're gonna get married
Mm-hmm.
and to who and how you're gonna meet. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I might get tidbits of details, but I think people come to psychic with the expectation of like, I can just tell them their future. No, your
Right.
future is not set
Expectation.
in stone. It's
Mm-hmm.
not set in stone. Like, so I can read the energy of the current situation, what I see if you keep on the path
Mm-hmm.
that you're going, some advice to
Yes.
get you on a better path. Like I can tell you about your relationship now and are you wasting your time or, is it worth the wait? Like I can see all of that stuff to actually
Mm-hmm.
help you to make your own decision, to use your own
Yeah.
free will to get to wherever the hell you want to go. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you co-create with the universe and there is unlimited possibilities. It's the human brain and the ego that tells us we can't do things.
That is so strong, and that is like 100% true.
Absolutely.
Wow. She's spitting facts.
Yes, girl.
Um, do you ever have people like come to you like, "Oh my gosh, Becky, like give me a time frame." I have people like that, and I tell them like I don't have a time frame. I'm not gonna tell you a time frame. just know that like this is the information I'm getting, and they always try to like just come back, and I'm just like, yo, let's focus on today.
Yeah, I caution people on time frames because time is fluid on the other side. And sometimes I see things and they can happen faster due to your free will choices, or they can take longer due to your free will choices. So sometimes I do get very concrete timelines, but
Hmm.
again, I always preface it with like, hey, time is fluid and this can always change. I remember
Yes.
being in Bali and I had this woman who was very intuitive, and she does female entrepreneur counseling, but she's
Hmm.
super intuitive. She uses her own gifts for what she does. And I remember this changed my life. She said, "You're gonna get where you want to go, like with my mediumship, and like she's like, you're gonna
Hmm.
get there faster if you just jump in." And even she's like, "You're afraid, but do it anyway." And
Hmm.
I literally took it and just sailed with it. So, um, and again, like I
Wow.
don't think I would be this far if she hadn't have told me that. Again, free will.
No, yeah, yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Um, do you have any advice on anyone that wants to do this kind of work? What advice do you have?
Well, first and foremost, always do it ethically, right? So make sure you give yourself time to develop. Do
Mhm.
tons of free readings. Be cautious if you're
That's
reading for
so
family and friends.
important. Thank you for
People
saying
get a
that.
mentor because again, this work comes with a lot of responsibility. I
Hmm.
want to caveat this with it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to screw up as long as you
Hmm.
learn, grow from it. But don't just jump into readings and like charging people, like practice, mentor, read books, go to development classes. I did like hundreds of thousands of free readings before I actually started practicing and charging people.
Hmm.
And like again, always be ethical. If for whatever reason, like you're not getting anything in a reading, give their money back or offer to reschedule. Like make sure you set clear boundaries with spirit.
Hmm.
Do
100%. Hmm.
that's boundaries because they will come through anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
You can have open and close hours, which my mentor taught me to do. Never read for people who are drinking or if you're drinking. Because when
Hmm.
you are drinking, it's like me in cornhole. I'm like, aces, yeah. But then
Hmm.
like you can attract darkness. So
Yeah.
I used to be, you're so spot on when you drink and read because you have no blocks because you're like, whatever, I'll just say it. And
You
you
have to
don't
be
have like,
careful with that.
you got to be careful. I woke up having panic attacks. So I was like, no drinking and channeling at all.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, heavy on like the free reading, and even like depending family and friends. I'm not close to my family when I first started. Um I'm not really close to my sister, but just like reading for her, and just like it was really nice because everyone's private, at least like with my family. I read for my sister and my niece, and I knew nothing really about them. And then like once I noticed just like the energy once I started like pinpointing like whatever it was, they were like, okay, thank you, like you're done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And
I'm
so
getting
the important
somewhere.
part, yeah, it's like if you're emotionally attached to something for your friend or family, just don't read for that particular part of them.
Yes,
But
girl.
like my
Yes.
my best friend, and we've been best friends since elementary school. I've gotten the her daughter's due date before she was even conceived. And
Oh
so
my
I just
gosh.
get this stuff for her. And again, I don't have an emotional tie to it. So, but if her, like, let's say her husband cheated, which by the way, he's not. So if you're listening to this podcast, he's not cheating. But like if I were to, get something like that, I probably wouldn't disclose it or say anything.
Yeah.
I would do like, hey, just checking in, how's everything going? Because I'm too emotionally attached to that to
Yep.
read accurately. And one, what's that going to do? But it's funny because I was shopping with my friend and I've seen her engagement and when it's going to happen.
Hmm.
And I said to her, I was like, if she said that her fiance or her boyfriend said she can start looking at rings. I was like, oh my God, let's go. And I said, if I see it, are you going to be mad if I don't tell you? And she's like, no, don't tell me. I'm like, great, because I would never want to have that moment ruined for
Yeah.
me. So I was like, okay, totally get it, but I'm going to write it down. And so after it happens, you can.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, okay, fair.
Um, what, like, how, how can I put this? How is it like receiving information and not being able to like relay it like that? Like how you said with your friend's engagement and stuff. Like, is it hard?
So it was hard at first when I first started developing my
Yeah.
gifts because it's like you want any opportunity to practice and it's
Yeah.
fun and I just love it. It's so fun. But now like that I'm experienced, I've been doing this a long time. I'm like, like I'll like and sometimes like I'll just write it down and like take a picture of my phone so that it
Mm.
has a date and timestamp just so that they can kind of see how funny it is. Now, if it's something bad, so I did have something where
Yeah.
and we're not close friends. She's actually a client and
Mm-hmm.
she had asked me about somebody and Spirit was like tell her like she needs to learn on her own. I knew
Mm.
the outcome, but
Yeah.
Spirit said learn on her own. And I said, "All right." So I stood back and we're really close now. And she's like, "Did you know that was going to happen?" I said, "Yeah, but Spirit told me not to tell you." Like if you are going to use this gift ethically, you're just the medium. They do the work.
Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
are just the conduit. So if they're telling
Mm-hmm.
me, don't say it. We're going to show you because you're going to need to be there for that person.
Mm-hmm.
But she needs to learn. This is one of her life lessons she needs to learn. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I trusted it. And they clearly trusted me with it. And I think it was a
Yeah.
test for me as well, because typically, if I'm not meant to see something, they won't show me. And that's the other
Yes.
thing. People will be like, well,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't you see that? And I'm like, well, sometimes it's not for me to see. It's part of a
You
bigger
are
lesson, a
just
plan.
so amazing. Like you are so amazing because I know like a lot of the non-believers are like, well, if you like saw it, but it's like not everything needs to be relayed. Like, you
Yeah.
know?
And we can't control what we see. So sometimes I had a client has a sick husband and for I could not see it for the life of me. Like
Mhm.
they were not showing me anything about this and I was just like I don't think this is for me to see. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
could be a part of a bigger lesson for you. And it's kind of funny because the client doesn't think her husband is she thinks her husband was misdiagnosed, so that could be the message too, right? That's probably why I couldn't
Mm.
see it is because
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
believe it's real, which in many cases people do get misdiagnosed. And
Mhm.
again, as an ethical psychic, I'm like, I'm not a doctor. So I do recommend that you but hey, get multiple opinions. Go to a holistic doctor.
Yes.
Like,
Hmm.
just giving them suggestions that I saw from Spirit and Spirit came through and they're like, holistic doctor, go. And I was like, okay. So I was able to relay that message. But yeah, for whatever reason, I could not see it.
Mm. Okay. What's the last question that I have, and then I'll pull cards. What is your favorite thing about what you do?
I mean, I think it goes back to like why I keep doing this work. Just
Hmm.
to see people heal, to open, like even not just heal, but even some friends or some guys I know that are like would never have thought about this, like just seeing their minds open up to the vast, unlimited possibilities of the universe. Like
Hmm.
this is literally magic. Like
Yes.
what we do is magic. And it's so cool because everyone can tap into that magic. Not everyone is medium, but everyone is
Hmm.
psychic and everyone can manifest the life of their dreams. And that's pure magic. And for me to be a part of people's journey, it's just amazing. And I'm so blessed and grateful. And I thank God every day that He gave me the ability to do it.
Yes, 100%. I feel like we all have like psychic gifts.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like a lot of them are blocked by like trauma because like with the intuition, it's like it's that trust that you have within yourself. So then
Yes.
if you allow someone outside of you to like if you you know something comes up and you're like, well, and then the other person's like, no, that's not it. And you go with what they're saying, you're not gonna, your intuition's gonna be, I don't want to say blocked, but it's gonna be like cloudy, you
Yeah,
know?
and I think and I definitely was taught not to trust myself. And so it took a long time to
Dang, girl.
dismantle that. I used to have to ask everyone's opinion about everything. And like now it's like I get stuff and I'm like, yeah, nope, I know what to do.
Mm-hmm. It comes like very, I love. What was your moon sign again?
Aquarius.
Okay, okay. The Aquarius moon with a Taurus rising and a Pisces sun. That Pisces girl, I don't know. I love water signs and just What house is it in? Do you know your chart or no?
I know a lot of it. The houses I'm not so good at. Um, Now I do know that I don't have a single fire thing in my chart. Not one,
Mm.
which is
Huh.
very rare. So they're like, I definitely have a hard time self-starting,
Huh. I don't have a single, well, aside from my Pluto, which is the planet of like transformation, that's
which
the
everyone
only
from our generation is Scorpio.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's the only
Yep.
one, and I don't really count that.
Yeah, no.
I
I
don't really
mean, it
count
only changes what every 30 years. Like, so it's like
it.
generational based traits. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's so funny. Okay, let me pull some cards.
So
Oh my
exciting.
gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Hold on. I want to see where we're going with this because
Nothing's
um
off limits, you can say it.
yeah. Hold on. Let's see what spirit has to say. All right, girlie. Question. What's how's your relationship with your family? The family you grew up with?
Like, I keep them at a distance. I'm like the black sheep, like for
Period.
sure.
Same. Same. Okay. All right. Because a lot came through. I know, like the last, well, like when we had spoke, a lot was like a lot of like what I had told you about the fitness with like um I don't know if you would call it like merging or like bringing together like the spiritual work with fitness that you do
Yes.
because that'd be freaking amazing. Um, there's a lot coming through. Hold on, girl, because I'm like. There's a lot of energy. All right, so I want to focus right now, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see these. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my God.
I
So the
can.
first
So
card
pretty.
that I got is boundaries. And just like the energy of this card, so it's boundaries, surrender, and solitude. Okay. And it, I'm feeling like really uncomfortable. And I just feel like this has to do with um family. What is your relationship with your mom?
So, like my mom is sick. She
I'm
has,
sorry, girl.
oh, it's okay. She has Alzheimer's. I don't really believe she has Alzheimer's. I believe my mom
Hmm.
has extreme trauma, mental health
Yeah,
issues,
yeah,
that just kind of present as Alzheimer's and they can't figure anything else out.
yeah,
Like I love my mom, and I
yeah.
was a mom girl growing up. Um, but like my mom's very victim mentality. She's a really hard
Mm,
person to be around. Love her to death, but I just think she can never get out of her own way. So she's just a very difficult person to be around. And she got sick as I moved away. And so my
yeah,
aunts and uncles have been so amazing and been doing a lot of the work to take care of her. And my brother and sister-in-law have been helping with her a lot. And God,
that's amazing.
so blessed that they are doing it. But like, I kind of always feel guilty because I'm out here in Colorado doing my own thing. And
Hmm.
yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of stuff around that.
Are you seeing them anytime soon?
Well, my dad's memorial is actually like in
Oh,
10 or
girl, this is
11 days.
heavy.
Oh, it's
Wow.
okay. Like I'm totally an open book. Like I have a obviously different relationship with death.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
my dad's in a better place in my opinion. So it is what it is.
Hmm. Hold on. Okay. Um, How do you feel around your family? Like, how do you feel? The reason why I asked is because, oh, Lordy, I feel sick to my stomach. Like, I feel sick. Okay, go ask Sissy for apple juice. I'm so sorry, girl. I feel
You're
sick to my
good.
stomach. Um, close the door, please. I feel sick to my stomach. I feel like extremely uncomfortable. Um, and I'm just like, what is this? What's this? What's this?
Yeah,
Oh my
I think
gosh.
it's me going to the memorial, like it's just a lot because and obviously I'm gonna be transparent here, but like my
Yeah,
dad was not a good man to me. My dad was pretty narcissistic.
yeah.
And I've done a lot of work to forgive my dad,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think he did the best he could with what he knew.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't want to speak ill of him, but like it's
yeah,
going to be hard because he had that narcissist, grandiose personality where he was super successful with work and made a lot of money, and
yeah.
he was he was very good to
Hmm.
everyone else, and he put on this show of like he's
Yeah.
such this cool guy, and he was a lot of people's heroes, and he was my aunt's hero,
Hmm.
and like me and my brother didn't have that experience. My brother had his very different
Hmm.
experience than I did, and he doesn't feel like my experience was valid. But hey, that's my brother. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think it's going to be. I'm like super uncomfortable with it going because one, and me and my stepmom we do not speak.
Mm.
Like we don't get along. Like I just respectfully keep my distance. For obvious reasons. And so
Yeah.
that's an uncomfortable situation. So I'm not surprised that you're feeling any of this because I am not looking forward to going to this memorial at all. Because you're gonna have a bunch of people coming up, your dad was the best, he was so cool. Like, and you're sitting here like, hey, do you know the time that he kicked me so hard because I was
Yeah.
crying over a haircut? Like,
Yeah.
or, just some of the things that I experienced in childhood. And my dad has come through and validated a lot of the stuff in my own
Yeah.
readings that I got from other people, um, that he was wrong. And, it's been really healing, but like, that's definitely, and as you can tell, I'm an open book. Like, I'm definitely like
No,
very
yeah.
nervous about
And
that. And my
thank
brother and
you.
sister-in-law are very, like, they're great. So I'm probably going to be gravitating to them. But like, yeah, it's definitely a anxious situation, I would say.
I feel that. Like I just feel it. I lost my train of thought. There was something about this is just centered off of there's like a little part that I'll go over with like career, but it's really like it's centering family, and I'm just like I'm trying not to like dive in and swim in these waters because and like it's not that like I feel like it's really heavy, you know.
Yeah,
um
it is. It's a
Hold
lot.
on. It is a lot. Okay. I'm just seeing there's gonna be just a shift in there's gonna be a lot of changes. Again, I don't know what like the family dynamic looks like, but it's just, I don't know if there's any like judgmental with like what you do and the work that you do and stuff like
Yes.
that. But
Yep.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of religion, and I'm very judged for what I do. And it's unfortunate, but I
Mhm.
try to just be compassionate because people believe what they want to believe, and you know,
And you're
it's
amazing for
okay.
not engaging in that. That's one of the things that like it's like I don't know if like you feel like you well, obviously like you're breaking generational curses. I feel like you're like I'm seeing family and I'm just seeing family like around, and then here like Becky is with Ollie, so cute, but it's like the it's like a gold light, and it's like you're shining light on like you're shining light gonna continue shining light on certain things and like triggering others in a way without even like intentionally wanting to trigger. But I don't know if it's like your vibe or like what because you're so kind. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
the reaction probably is like not wanting kind. But anyways, um yeah, this is like root chakra stuff. I don't know if like you're into the chakras, but it's really with this energy and like when you do go or whatever, I'm sure you're gonna do this, but just like ground your energy, girl, because it like and I don't know why as like I'm talking, I'm sure well for me when like I read for a lot of people and a lot of the messages and things that I get are new. And for some reason in my mouth, I'm like there's a lot of like saliva and I'm like what does that mean? It's very I'm like where what does that mean? What is that? I don't know, girl. This is my first.
That's
What
funny.
does it mean?
I
What
don't
does it
know.
mean?
So I have a lot of so I get a lot of cavities. Like we have a lot of dental history in my family. And it's funny because it's like the saliva in my mouth is like gargling sugar water. So I have to have
Really?
like medicated mouthwash. I don't know if that's why that's coming up, but I mean that would make sense to me. But
That's crazy. That's random. But
yeah. And it wouldn't be surprised because like I have actually, it's not surprising. Right before my dad passed, I was like having all this dental work done.
mm,
Like, so, and I had to actually just reschedule it too. So, like, if that's coming up, it would not surprise me because I would probably like go to the dentist. I'm like, I am, you had to die. Like, I
oh
just,
my
because I had to reschedule
God.
my appointment for the memorial and stuff. And I'm like, well, so I think it could just be a reminder coming through of like, hey, go get this done.
Okay,
Don't.
no, thank you for telling me that. I'm getting into astrology and I'm gonna be like bringing this into like my stuff, but like I don't know if you know random, but like Capricorn, you have a Capricorn stellium. Did you know Capricorn represents elders? It represents your ancestors, and it's like the root chakra. It's like where you come from. And your teeth represent that as well. Your
Oh,
teeth represent your
cool.
ancestors and it goes back to family line and it's like family trauma, stuff like that. So I'm I'm connecting it to that in a way of it's like there's just like a lot of baggage and go get you're healing it, you're fixing it, girl, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, don't I know it? I'm like,
You're
thanks for
healing it and
choosing me for this assignment. Thanks.
you're healing it and you're fixing it. And then like the last message, like in the family area, and then I'm gonna just quickly, because I don't want to take up more of your time, I'm gonna quickly scan over like because I'm getting a little in career. But I don't know if you journal, if you like to journal, but just like like being able to have it's interesting because it's like this deep level of gratitude. I don't know. What is that? I'm seeing, hold on. I'm seeing like being able to write down like while you go for like this service and just gratitude. What is this? Close the door, please. I'm in the middle of something. Sorry, my kid just walked in. Um was there anything like any good memories that you had with your dad?
There are some. Like it wasn't all bad. Like, and I don't want to make it sound like that because
No,
it's
no,
not,
no, no, no,
but
no. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But also it's just like that makes me wonder like I feel like there's not like a lot, but it's just like, um, I don't know if this is him. I don't know like what this is, but it's like just being in that, like remembering that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to remember that. Okay, I'm closing out the family thingy because it resembles mine and
Mirrors. What were we talking about earlier? Mirrors. Yeah.
100%. Okay, so as of career, I don't know what you're doing, girl, in the career department, but it's like things are gonna be like changing. Things are gonna be changing. What is this? Oh my gosh. it's interesting. It's a bunch of new stuff. I guess everyone that I'm gonna have on here is gonna be like new information. It's gonna be a lot of new information. Um, hmm. Have you thought of like building a community?
Yes.
Um, you're gonna go different ways. It's I'm seeing something with health, not necessarily like are you a foodie? Like
Mm-mm. I
is
eat
like
like a 6-year-old.
oh my God. I'm seeing like nourishment. I'm seeing like things that make you feel like good and like just make you feel better. Like, is this a message for you or is this something that you're going to be doing? Because now I'm in like the career department.
Yeah, I mean, I was a nutrition and, as you know, nutrition and health coach. And so, I mean, it would not surprise me, because spirit always brings that through. It's like the food, like how we treat our
Really?
bodies and the foods that we eat are so healing. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if I got back into that with like a psychic medium twist. Like, would not surprise me at all.
I
And
can
I've been
see you
told
doing that.
before that I was going to create like a women's health community. Like,
I
yeah,
feel like you are, girl. And not only that, something, someone's car is going off. I'm sorry. Something with animals, I'm sure you know, it's
been
not
told
going to
that
be
too.
just, not just dogs. I don't
Hmm.
know, like animals. Like if I had a pet fish, you'd be able to like let me know what my fish is saying.
Yep. I've been
And my
shown that
connection's really
too.
big.
Yep,
So,
I've been told that too. And I'm like, okay.
dude, that's amazing. Well, we do have. Okay, all right, hold on. When, like, do you have any push or drive into doing it?
I mean, I'm always like kind of open to it. I
Mm-hmm.
actually started, I always, if I want to practice a new skill,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always do free readings. So I've done a couple of
Mm.
like pet readings, and it's always funny with pets though, because who they want to come through never does. It's like always their childhood pet, or like, I had a hamster come through once. It's just like it's
Oh
spot on,
my
but
God.
like it's hilarious. And like I've had pets, like past pets talk about current live pets.
Mhm.
Hilarious. Um, but yeah, I've been told like this is something I would get into for sure.
Dude, I'm so
I've
excited
been
whenever you
dabbling.
do. You're gonna have to let me know, girl, because that like whatever health stuff, that's gonna be like on and popping, and I absolutely love that. And then the animal stuff too, that'd be great. That'd be great. My girls have a pet fish, and Alay, I don't know if you heard her. She was like, I have a pet fish. I want a reading for him. Anyways,
Ah, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Is it one of those like little beta fishes? Like that just
girl,
sit.
yeah, no,
I
for
saw a
real,
beta fish.
yes,
Okay. I saw a beta fish when
yes.
you said that. Like just he sits
Hmm.
there and does nothing.
Literally, there was two. One of them was like, close the door. It was like bright red. Close the door. She doesn't know it passed on, but both of them, like she
Yeah.
thinks, yeah, that
I'm just
with
seeing a
COVID
blue
and
one, so
everything,
I don't know if there's like a
there's
bluish
blue
one.
and red. That one was hers. I think. What was his name? Oh my gosh, girl. Anyways, I need to go to PetSmart to go on and get the two because they've had three. There was Sonic, there was I think Rainbow, and there was
Mhm.
Charmander, which was red, and that one left marks on the thing. Anyway, my
Have you
girls are
thought
very
about
spiritual.
putting like, do you have a plant in the bowl like that they can eat off of?
Not a real plant, but I'm gonna have to look into that.
That's
I
the
just
suggestion is like, I don't know if, and I don't know anything about fish. So if I'm
no,
totally
yeah, yeah.
wrong, but like, I'm just saying it's like, I don't, is the bluefish still living?
No, they
Okay. I'm
all
seeing,
died.
okay. Cause I'm seeing a bluefish pop in my brain, and it's like, I almost hear like, we need more like plant vegetation. Like it'll help us
Yeah, and
live
I
longer. So I don't know if they're going
That's
to
why
eat
it
it or if it's just
died.
the live plant just helps them. So he's like, get a live plant and put it like maybe on top. I don't know if that's something they can do. Just I look into it. That's the
No,
message I'm here.
I'm gonna have to do
Maybe I can't
that.
talk to fish. This is so
Um,
weird.
no, look, girl, you see? Yes, girl. But
Funny, so funny.
you are an amazing, just like beautiful person, Becky. I'm so glad that we connected. I'm just like, I need to get a reading from you, girl. After this, I need to like see and book with you. Um, let the peeps know where we can find you.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram and see all the antics of myself and Ollie at Dog Mom Medium. Or you can, and there's a link to my website, but it's super easy. It's dogmommedium.com, and you can book your reading, or you can buy a gift card or certificate
Yeah.
for others to book their reading.
Okay, so you just offer psychic and mediumship reading right now, right?
Yes, and I really want to explain the difference. So, medium reading
Yes.
is for those who want to hear from past loved ones to make sure they're okay. So, I get a lot of evidential stuff, how they died, family
Yeah,
dynamics,
yeah, yeah.
things that I might necessarily not know just by looking online, which I don't do, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, but the evidential work takes a little time. And then if you're like, no, I know grandma's okay, I don't really need to get all the evidential stuff, but I want advice about dating, love, career. Um, I would book a psychic reading. So in a medium reading, you will get psychic information from your past
Yes.
loved ones. You will. It doesn't not happen.
Hmm.
It's just we focus a little bit more on evidential stuff to start, and then we get into messages. A psychic reading is I don't really dabble in the evidential stuff. So grandma could still come in, or dad or mom could come in to deliver the message
Hmm.
about career, love, finances, but we're not going to like play around with how they died
Yeah,
and
about
specific
yeah, yeah,
details.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So that's my biggest disclaimer. It's like if you're going to schedule a reading, just and if you have questions about which type you should schedule, just DM me.
No, yeah, 100%. Thank you for that clarification because a lot of people like will for me like they'll book the psychic and then want a mediumship and I'll be like, it's not the same thing, you
Right.
know?
No, it's completely different. Because I used to just do them together, like psychic medium, but then I would panic because I'd have a loved one come through and I would do evidential and I could read the client. I could tell they're like, get on with this. So I was like, oh, okay, like, all right, cool. You know, dad's here. Like, so now it's just like, what's your intention? What do you need for me? So makes it a little
No,
bit
yeah.
more, client gives them a little bit more control.
Yes. Okay. Well, Becky, thank you so much. And thank
Thank
Ollie for
you.
grounding the energy because like I can feel his energy and it's like normally it takes me some time when I tap into an energy and it's like heavy, but like I think that I
Yeah.
feel it. Thank you,
He's
Ollie.
He's the best. He's snoring, but he earned his rent today. So
Okay, girl, I'm gonna close it out. Stay on, but I am gonna close it out. Thank you, and have a good day.